Hello everyone, my name is Evan, and welcome to my very first YouTube video on my new YouTube channel, Evan's Ranking Tablet. The whole gimmick of this channel is that everything I ever review on this channel gets put into one single big ranking. And this first video is of a new series called Letterboxd Critic. And Letterboxd Critic is inspired by YouTuber Everything's Quest for the Best, where he reviews films and puts them in his letterbox. And this series is basically that exact same thing, just with me instead of him. In today's video, I'm going to be reviewing the Barbie movie, Oppenheimer, Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, Ralph Breaks the Internet, The Martian, and The Meg. Let's get right into it. Alright, let's start things off with the Barbie movie. And before anything else, I just want to make it as clear as day. My thoughts on this film have nothing to do with like feminist, woke, or stupid political reasons like that. That has nothing to do with my opinion on the film. With that said, yeah, I do not like this film at all. I really did not like it. And I know that's a controversial opinion, very much so, because a lot of people seem to love it, and I'm glad they do. And let me just get my biggest redeeming aspect out of the way right now. The set design for Barbie Land is amazing. That's incredibly... I agree with that. I love the set design for Barbie Land. The idea that that Barbie floats down from her house instead of going down the stairs, because that's how girls play with Barbie when they were younger. I really like that. With that said, I think my biggest problem with the movie is the humor. I did not laugh a single time. I think I chuckled once, but that's honestly it. One of the worst jokes in the film for me was a fourth wall break that was incredibly lazy. Barbie is doubting how beautiful she is, and then she's told, "Oh, you are beautiful," and then the movie literally pauses in order for the narrator to say, "This is why you shouldn't cast Margot Robbie as your Barbie," and that is supposed to be the joke. And a lot of people in the theater laughed, and I'm glad they were able to enjoy the joke, but I don't find a lazy fourth wall break like that to even be a joke, because you're not making a joke, you're just acknowledging that this is a movie and she's Barbie, this is played by Margot Robbie. That's not a joke in and of itself. You gotta do more than that. And there are a lot of so-called jokes in the film that are Barbie spends the entire beginning of the movie with tinted heels, and then she has flat feet, and then when the other Barbies discover she has flat feet, they literally say flat feet, and they start puking. I guess that's supposed to be funny because having flat feet is disgusting, and that's the joke. It's really not as clever as it thinks it is. Margot Robbie does make a decent casting choice as Barbie, I will admit. Another big problem I have with it, I think this is my second biggest problem, just behind how unfunny it is. I like the message of the film. Again, I don't hate the film for political reasons. I actually like the message it's going for, but this otherwise good message is delivered very non-subtly and is hammered in your face. There are PG movies that deliver a message subtly and respect the intelligence of the audience to pick it up. Barbie is a PG-13 movie. They literally make a joke in this film that is not funny, by the way. After Ken and Barbie enter the real world, about Ken and Barbie not having private parts to their toys, and that's the joke. They literally just they go up to guys or something, and I think they go up to construction workers, and then Barbie's "Oh, I don't have a vagina, and Ken doesn't have a penis." That actually happens, and that's supposed to be a joke. It's not funny. I know a lot of people love it, and I'm glad they do, but I don't. I think it's really highly annoying. I was really annoyed by this film. I gave it 1.5 stars on my Letterboxd, translating into a 3 out of 10. Alright, next up we have Oppenheimer, the other side of the Barbenheimer trend. And unlike the Barbie movie, which I personally find to be incredibly overrated, I really, really like Oppenheimer. It's amazing. I'm a huge fan of this film. The only flaw I really have with it is its length. I don't mind a movie being as long as 3 hours if it's necessary, but the film here, I don't feel needed to be as long as it was. They could have definitely cut it down. That's my only flaw. I think the thing about Oppenheimer is it's incredibly tense, Like, a lot of this film is people in a room talking, but, like, it's incredibly engaging for that. It's, like, definitely. But, like, the atomic bomb, like, moment of the film, that is some incredibly tense stuff there. Like, I was, like, wow. I love the characters. I described the characters in my notes as intriguing, because I was very interested by the characters here. Like, I love the characters. I love some of the set design. I love the acting. I love I love how tense the atomic bomb moment was. This film is amazing. Again, the only real flaw I have with it is how long it is. And I guess there was like I'm not gonna say it because it might be a spoiler, but it might also not be. I don't know. Point is, I love this movie. I think it's fantastic. I don't really have that much to say about it as much as I thought I did, but it is an incredibly tense, incredible biopic that I gave a 4 stars out of 5, translating into an 8 out of 10. Alright, next up we have not only my favorite film I'm going to be talking about today, but also my favorite film of 2023 and my favorite animated movie, period, and one of my top 4 favorite films of all time on my Letterboxd. Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. Wow. Just wow. This is, as I said, one of my favorite films ever. It's my favorite animated movie ever. It is an actual masterpiece. And unlike Oppenheimer, which I didn't really have as much to say about as I thought I did, I think we're going to have a lot more to say about here. At least I hope I will. So, the most obvious thing, like, that there's to mention is the visuals. This is a sequel to Into the Spider-Verse, and somehow they made Into the Spider-Verse look like nothing. It's with the visual department alone. I don't even know how you managed to surpass Into the Spider-Verse so hard at that point where Into the Spider-Verse doesn't look that impressive anymore, but somehow they did that. I am so impressed. Like, the visual design is amazing, and it's probably the best looking movie I've ever seen. I wrote down on my notes. It is I think it is the best looking movie I've ever seen. It is. It absolutely is. And then the characters. I love the characters, and I love their conflicts. Miles' parents can be kind of like, well, at least Miles' dad can be kind of a, how do I describe it? Kind of bad, awful at times, but it's understandably coming because like he's a dad and he's kind of disconnected from his son or whatever, and I love the conflict here. I love the conflict not only between Miles and his parents, that's pretty engaging to watch, but I think the best conflict comes with Gwen Stacy and her father. I'm not going to spoil what that is, because that would definitely be a spoiler, even if it is at the beginning of the film, but I'm not going to say anything about it, because I would be spoiling stuff, but I love the conflict between Gwen Stacy and her father. Probably is one of my favorite aspects of the movie. I also really love the soundtrack. I think my favorite song on the soundtrack is Link Up. It's also pretty funny. Like, a lot of people say it's not that funny compared to Into the Spider-Verse, and I guess Into the Spider-Verse, I guess it's not as funny as, honestly, I don't find either Spider-Verse films to be as funny, like, as the Lego Movie. I've got to be honest there. I do find the Lego Movie to be, like, not as good as a film as Into the Spider-Verse or Across the Spider-Verse, although I do love the Lego Movie, don't get me wrong. But I do think the Lego Movie is a lot funnier than either Spider-Verse films when it comes to its humor and succeeds it. I don't think Into the Spider-Verse is that funny either. It was funny, but it wasn't like Lego Movie funny, you know? Like a lot of people say it was. And Across the Spider-Verse is more or less the same, but I do still think it's just like Into the Spider-Verse, a pretty funny film with some really fun jokes. Probably the only flaw I have with it is some pacing issues. It has some pacing issues near the middle of the film. And by pacing issues, I think it just kind of dragged on for a bit. That's it. It just kind of dragged on. That's literally that's what I meant by pacing issues. It just kind of drags on a bit. That's like my only flaw. Otherwise, this is again one of my favorite movies of all time. It really is up there for me. I love it. And like, yeah, there's one other thing I want to mention. Like, when Miles Morales first enters the Spider-Verse, like, chamber, whatever universe of Spider-Man, all the Spider-Man living together. Basically, like, there's a lot of references to previous, like, Spider-Man properties, like, there's a Spider-Man PS4 reference and all that. And that could have felt pandering, but it really didn't because it felt like loving. It felt like it's kind of like how the Mario movie didn't feel pandering with all the references. It felt more like it was paying tribute to how much it loved to the property. Spider-Man universe, whatever that Spider-Man universe is, I don't know. The point is, I love Across the Spider-Verse. It's my fourth favorite film. I have it ranked as my fourth favorite movie of all time on Letterboxd. It's my favorite animated movie of all time. And I am obviously, when it comes to the score, it's 5 out of 5 stars on Letterboxd, translating into a 10 out of 10. What else would it be? Okay, so if Across the Spider-Verse was the perfect example of how to do a sequel to an amazing original, and it's my favorite animated film of all time, Ralph Breaks the Internet takes an original film I really enjoy, Wreck-It Ralph, and basically squanders the entire thing. It ruins the franchise with a sequel that is, no joke, my actual least favorite animated movie of all time. That's not an exaggeration. Ralph Breaks the Internet is my least favorite animated film of all time. It's basically just Disney's version of the Emoji Movie, except I actually hate it a bit more. And I think the biggest reason I hate it more than the Emoji Movie is because as much as I hate the Emoji Movie, it's not as bad as people say it is. It's not an all-time least favorite film of mine or anything. As much as I hate the Emoji Movie and as pandering as that film is, it does, the characters are all original, meaning that no characters from a previous actually good original are crapped all over in a pandering sequel full of references. Ralph Breaks the Internet is a sequel to Wreck-It Ralph, and I actually really love the original Wreck-It Ralph. That's one of my favorite Disney films ever. Ralph Breaks the Internet is my actual least favorite Disney movie, even below, Disney's Artemis Fowl. I hate Disney's Artemis Fowl. I don't think it's a 1 out of 10 film by any means, and I don't think this is a 1 out of 10 either, by the way. The only way you can be a 1 out of 10 movie, in my eyes, is to fit a very specific list of 4 requirements. 1, you have to have... I have a list on screen right now, but I'm going to read that anyway. 1, you have to have no redeeming qualities. 2, you cannot be so bad you're good, otherwise you're not a 1 out of 10. 3, you have to be made by people who didn't try to make you good and just wanted money. And 4, you have to be made by people who weren't really enjoying themselves while making it. As much as I hate Ralph Breaks the Internet only really fills out 2 of these 4 requirements. And those 2 requirements are... it's not so bad it's good, and the people who made it didn't really try to make anything good, they just wanted money. With that said, the people who made it did clearly have fun making it, and there is the one redeeming quality that it has good animation. That's not really anything new for a Disney movie, because it's Disney, but it's still technically a redeeming quality. That's better than some other, all-time least favorite animated films of mine, which have, or even all-time least favorite movies of mine, which have no redeeming qualities. I don't really have as much to say as I thought I would, but it is basically Disney's The Emoji Movie. Good animation is the only good thing I like about it. Otherwise, this is one of my least favorite films. Well, it's not only my bottom 10, because you have to be a 1 out of 10 to be that bad. Basically, 1 out of 10, you have to be very, you have to really get on the bad side to be a 1 out of 10. This film is almost a 1 out of 10. It comes close, but ultimately, it's not quite. 1 star out of 5 on my Letterboxd, translating into a 2 out of 10. I don't really have anything else to say about this film other than I hate it. Alright, 2015's The Martian. I'm just gonna say it right now, this film's amazing and I love it. It's based off a book, and we actually read the book at school, The Martian, and it's a pretty great book. I enjoy it a lot. And then we watched the film afterwards at school, and oh my god, the film is even better than the book. And that's saying a lot, because I really love the book, but the film is even better. It's incredibly funny. As much as I love the book, I do think it suffered a bit in the humor department in ways that, it was clearly trying to be a humorous book, but I don't think it was as funny as I thought it was trying to be. But the movie actually is very funny. I love the humor in the movie. Probably one of my favorite things about the book, the film, probably one of my favorite things about the film is the soundtrack. It's a lot of licensed music, but first of all, there's instrumental music that I love. Whenever it's not just licensed music, I love the instrumental music. But surprisingly, this is a non-Guardians of the Galaxy related movie, where the actual licensed music I really like too. I think one of my favorite moments in the film is a montage with Starman in the background, David Bowie's Starman. I think the reason I loved that montage so much is because Starman actually fit what was going on in the situation very well, and it wasn't like cheaply there. I'm not gonna spoil anything more than that, but I loved like the fact that like Starman actually felt relevant. I love the characters. I love Mark Watney, both in the book but in the movie even more. Probably my favorite thing about the movie is just the visuals on Mars. They looked incredible. Like just the shots of cinematography on Mars. I don't even know how they made some of the set design on Mars, but it was stunning to look at. This was released back in 2015, and it is a fantastic film that I absolutely adore. It's probably one of my top 10 favorite book-to-film adaptations ever. I love it. I gave it a 4.5 stars on my Letterboxd, which would translate to a 9 out of 10, but I think for the sake of this video, I'm going to actually increase the score, bump it up a bit into a 9.5 out of 10, because I really do love this film that much. It is fantastic. Let's end things off with The Meg. I watched this film because I'm planning on watching the sequel, Meg 2: The Trench, in theaters. I'm going to be watching it later today, actually, as I'm recording this. And Meg 2: The Trench, how do I describe the sequel to Meg? Well, I haven't seen the sequel yet. How do I describe the first Meg movie? Bad. It sucks. It's really bad. It's probably the biggest word I can use to describe the first Meg movie is boring. I was bored out of my mind watching this one. Like, actually bored out of my mind. Like, there was actually a moment in the film, like, the opening was pretty bad, but afterwards I was starting to think, maybe this film wasn't so bad, because it had some really good set design. It had a decent score. I think that's, like, my biggest redeeming aspect of the film, is, like, the score is pretty good. And I really like some of the set design and cinematography. And I think that's the big thing that was, like, not, like, anti-dragging down, like the film for a while after the opening, was, like, the quality of the set design, and, like, the cinematography, but, like, after a while, I started to get bored out of my mind, and I really started to see the cracks with this film's quality, especially with how unfunny it was. I think that's the biggest problem I have with the film, is the fact that it is abysmally not funny. I did not, like, laugh a single time. I cringed a few times at some of the humor. It's pretty unfunny. Probably the worst thing about the film is the acting. This is some really bad acting. I'm not gonna say, I don't really have anything more to say about it than that, but this is some crap acting, man. Especially the protagonist, I don't know who the actor's name is, but the protagonist has some really bad acting behind him. I'm sure the actor himself is good, but this performance, no. Probably the worst thing about this film is it shouldn't be taking itself so seriously. It's a stupid shark movie. You're supposed to care about these characters and the struggles they go through, but I don't care. Like, I don't care, because these are not engaging characters, and this is not a film that should be taking itself seriously to make you care about the characters. This is supposed to be a stupid shark movie, so just give us stupid shark action. I mean, I guess we do get stupid shark action, and such stupid shark action is fine, I guess, but well, I don't know. I hated this film. It's not as bad as Ralph Breaks the Internet, but I do hate it a little bit more than the Barbie movie when comparing it to the other two bad films I've talked about in this video. I gave it 1.5 stars on my Letterboxd, translating into a 3 out of 10. Don't recommend it. And that's just about do it for this video. What I normally do at the end of each video is read out the ranking tablet as it is right now, but I currently have my ranking tablet filled out for both of my first two videos. My second video is going to be the first episode of YouTube Critic, which is basically Letterboxd Critic, but for YouTube videos instead of movies. That's for my next video. For now, I guess this is it. Goodbye.